On Ticker, this is Import Export with Lawrence Christophels.
I'm joined by Manon Beauchamp-Tardieu, hope I got that right, from My Little Green Panda.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, Manon.
Thank you for having me, Lawrence.
Can you please tell us about My Little Green Panda?
Yeah, so Little Green Panda is a startup, so we make plant-based drinking straws that are fully compostable and made from agricultural waste with the sole purpose of replacing single-use plastic and paper straws.
Great. Well, our show is one of the main sponsors is Ethical Trade Alliance. It's all around the community benefits for manufacturing process, how to try and involve sustainable supply chains and make sure supply chains become more sustainable, but also for consumers that they're supporting sustainable products, which is why I really love what you're doing and why I really was delighted when you said you'd come on the show.
Thank you so much. So when all our products, so straws are actually sourced pretty much all over the world, but primarily in Southeast Asia. And we actually work remotely, really closely with remote communities in developing countries that actually hand make all our straws, which is incredible.
So it's great employment for them as well.
Yes, exactly. Well, our three types of straws are the bamboo straws, sugarcane straws, and the wheat straws. And the wheat straws are actually were actually a byproduct of another business that they were doing. So primarily their main business is making straw hats and straw bags. And we actually approached them and said, hey, what do you do with your leftover straws? Because we'll take them and help you make another second business.
A whole repurposing.
And repurpose them.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, what we class in supply chain is PLM, Product Lifecycle Management. So what you've just described there is a fantastic example of PLM, Product Lifecycle Management.
Exactly.
So you actually got a repurpose of a byproduct. Not only can the consumer use it, but then it's also the product lifecycle as well from a disposability perspective is doing great things as well.
Exactly, yeah. So those straws, at the end of the day, it is just a straw, but it's so much more than that because you have the people who make them, so it creates another source of income for them. It's great for the planet because they're fully compostable, they're ocean friendly, so they biodegrade, they don't leave a trace, and they're just a great alternative to those single-use plastic that we're having.
Well, the single-use plastic is a big no-no, but the other frustration for me is I love my fresh juices, right? And these days you get the paper straws, but they're too soggy. Like by the time you haven't gone through halfway through the juice and they're sort of basically falling apart. So the bamboo straws, the cane straws, obviously are much more robust from a usability perspective.
Yeah, they are. Well, it's funny because all along these were actually all around since the 1800s, and people actually use that to prevent spreading diseases. And so naturally they have this waterproof barrier to them, which makes them go water resistant for up to 24 hours in a drink, which is insane. And I think people should start implementing these more because the solution has been here all along.
And are they cost effective? Are they more expensive than plastic straws? Or?
So for plastic straws, unfortunately, because plastic straws is dirt cheap, regarding with paper straws, they're exactly the same price.
Right, wow.
Yeah. So we're just pushing it out there because people don't know about them. And so we're really bringing awareness and starting to introduce it into the market, which has been awesome.
Fantastic. Look, I can't congratulate you enough. I think you're doing an amazing job. Who are the people who are already taken up at the moment?
Wow, okay. So right now we have around 800 organizations who've made the switch. We've been operating for 16 months now, and we're really proud to say that we've sold 2.6 million straws, which is incredible. And I think that's because the momentum is here and people want to change. The consumers are going to demand that, for sure. Exactly. People are tired of, as yourself, they're tired of paper straws. They want an alternative to this. And also they want to do good for the planet. So we have a lot of international 5-star hotels on board, boutique and restaurants, and just cruise ships and everything like that. So everyone is really getting on board with it, which is really exciting.
Great. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about on the show is, I love what you're doing with the business, the purpose, the whole benefits both upstream and downstream. But from a logistics import-export show, did you have any background or experience about doing business overseas before this, when kicking off 16 months ago?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's actually a really good question. So I sort of started this off as a side hustle. Didn't think it was going to take off into a business. So I've just been learning on the spot every day, which has been challenging because I'm sure, as you know, it is a lot of lingo and a lot of
lot of acronyms in
Exactly.
international terms. Yeah.
Yes. So I was very confused at first, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And the more you do it, and because right now we sell over to 8 countries around the world, I really had to just get my head in and do it.
Yeah.
And I think what's really helpful is having great networking and people that can really help and guide you. And I think our success so far has been from that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's important for us with the ATLC, the Australian Trade and Logistics Corporation, is to build that support community, not just for new importers and exporters, but even for existing importers and exporters to learn about how things have changed, stay up to date with innovation.
Yeah.
So that's another important part of that community building, because hopefully people will see this and listen to what your story is about, get involved and want to start their international business as well. And they know that, okay, well, Manon's done it, and she's she's doing a great job with it, and it's achievable, it's possible.
It is.
It's
I really think that this, if you're wanting to do business overseas, just because you might be afraid or not too knowledgeable on the matter, it shouldn't stop you at all, because it opens a whole bunch of opportunities and markets.
Yeah.
And for a competitive perspective as well, it's really insightful, and you can access more business and more markets, and also grow your business globally.
Well, I was going to say as well, is that most SMEs first and foremost focus on domestic.
Yes.
The old business models were, from an export capabilities assessment, was, have you got a good domestic market first? Nowadays, you don't need to have that. You don't need to. You can go straight into being a global business from day dot, and you're a great example of that.
Yes, well, I think that is definitely true. I think nowadays things are changing. There's all online shopping, e-commerce, and all that. So I think for sure it's definitely going to be happening even more in the future.
And the market size, when I talk to companies who are considering doing international trade, now if you've got a product that you want to look at domestically, if you want a product to look at globally, okay, you look at what your marketing budget is, your operational budgets are, and okay, look at, let's say, 25 mil for round numbers for Australian population. Now, if you spend that same budget or slightly more into other markets as well, not just discounted Australia, you include Australia, but you could spend that same sort of money into bigger markets and get a lower penetration rate, but much more sales.
Exactly, that's true. I think especially in Australia, because we're so isolated, the market is very restrictive. It is a great market, but when you're comparing to the US or Europe or even Asia, there's just so many opportunities out there that it would be sort of a shame to not, pursue that because of the global freight and all that logistics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's very much more achievable these days, as you say, with the systems, the processes, but even the partnerships that you can work with. You can work with freight forwarders who've got offices in parts of the world. So you can create your processes and instruction sets here in Australia, and they can replicate those for you around the world.
Yes, so that's so true, Lawrence. We've been outsourcing all our freight with a freight broker, and that's just been honestly the best thing ever, because it's just, you just hand it on to them and they'll take care of everything for you.
Well, I think that's what people are, as I said, whether you're new into the international trade game or you've been there for 20 years, the model now is moving towards what we call as micro niches. So you're great at your freight or your transport or your warehousing or IT or data security, all these sort of things. It doesn't matter what it is. You can focus on the product, developing the product, sticking to the purpose of the business.
Exactly.
And then using experts around you.
Right.
So how can people get in touch with you and find out more about the straws or getting them stocked in their businesses?
Yes, so they can check our website out, which is www.littlegreenpanda.com, and one of our sales teams will happily help.
Great. Look, thanks so much, Manon. I think it's been really great to have you on the show. Like I said, Ethical Trade Alliance is one of our proud sponsors, and it's all about your basically a living embodiment of what that's all about. Community benefits, sustainability benefits, sustainable supply chain, product lifecycle management, so that ticks all those boxes. And from an ATLC perspective, it's all about trying to encourage people with that community to get the right people around you to really take your business global. So,
exactly.
Really encourage you to get in touch with Manon and her team. If you've got anything to do with straws in your business, or if you know anyone who does, reach out. You won't regret it. They're really fantastic straws, and they've got benefits in every touch point.
Oh, thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much, Manon, and good luck with it. And
Thank you.
look forward to checking in again sometime soon.
Thank you so much.
Great.